I've got just 2 words for you: Texas fight. The Texas Longhorns are going to win it all. Whatever all is, they are winning it. That's it. Video complete. Thank you for watching. Okay, but in all seriousness, I am here to break down the Big 12 Conference, which team actually has a shot at a solid season and a shot at the Big 12 championship game. With a revised schedule, the Big 12 is playing a 10-game season with a 9-1 model, 9 conference games plus 1 non-conference opponent. The season starts September 12th with a conference play set to begin September 26th. Each team will have a minimum of 2 byes, with the potential for a third coming late in the season. Oklahoma is the favorite to win the conference right now at minus 120 odds, and my response to that is nah. Lincoln Riley is a beast of a coach, but this is the first time that he does not get an experienced transfer quarterback. Spencer Rattler is, of course, not a quarterback to take lightly, as he's already a Heisman contender with the little experience that he does have. But I'm looking elsewhere. I just believe that there's too much talent spread across the conference for a new quarterback to take this team to the title game. Texas comes in as the second favorite, followed by Oklahoma State, then Iowa State. One team that I am ruling out is Baylor. Matt Rule did a fantastic job coaching the Bears, but he is gone, and so is the entire defensive line. A new coach, plus a new defense that has to face Texas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma on the road. It could definitely be a rough season for the Baylor Bears. Kansas has not done better than 1-8 in conference since 2008. Their season win total is set at 2.5 games. They have not topped 4 wins since 2009, and this year very well could be much of the same. We'll call it another rebuild year. Kansas State had some surprises last year, notably defeating Oklahoma in a 48-41 shocker, but this year they lose their entire offensive line. Thompson is a fair quarterback, but K-State was ranked 67th last year in quarterback protection. I'm just going to need to see how this team adjusts to that big of a change before I take them in any game. West Virginia is an interesting team to me because they are a very polarizing team. Last year, they were barely able to fend off Kansas. They got throttled by Iowa State and Oklahoma in back-to-back games, but nearly picked off Baylor before getting slammed again against Texas Tech to lose to Oklahoma State and TCU by 7 points or less. Who is this team? There's just no consistency for either side of the ball. They were 112th in total offense and 73rd in total defense, yet they made some noise in some of the most curious of spots. Their season win total is set at 4.5, and I wouldn't be surprised if second-year coach Neil Brown is able to surpass expectations. With Texas Tech, it's pretty simple for me. You've got ability versus durability, and quarterback Alan Bowman is a capable quarterback who could lead one of the best passing attacks in the country, but can he stay on the field long enough? Can he stay healthy is the big question. The Red Raiders faced a quarterback carousel in 2018 from injuries, and last year Bowman was out after the first 3 weeks. Tech went 0-4 in one-score games, and that bad luck factor is sure to correct itself, but quarterback is key, and that is just a big question mark right now. Then finally, you've got TCU. Quarterback Max Duggan is taking some time off with a health condition, so that leaves the quarterback position with some questions. Behind an offensive line that is being replaced. I think this is a team that will instead rely on its defense because last year they led the Big 12 in total defense, and even though they lose Jeff Gladney and Ross Blacklock, there still should be a solid core of defensive players. And now let's get to the good stuff. Iowa State, 5 regular season losses were by a combined 21 points. You get a quarterback in Brock Purdy returning. He had 66% completion, 27-9 touchdowns to interception ratio, 3,900 yards, and returning their star running back in Breece Hall. 2 wide receivers are gone in Jones and Petaway, but they do get JUCO transfer Xavier Hutchinson, who I have read some really good things about, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if his talent can take flight this season. Their season win total is set at 6.5, and I really do think that this could go over. Last year, Brock Purdy had 6 games in which he threw for over 300 yards. The offensive line is a concern, but I do like the experience at the quarterback position to really help out in this spot. They opened their season against the Ragin' Cajuns, so that's going to be a big game to dictate the flow of the rest of their season. Their road schedule is tough as they do face Texas, Oklahoma State, and TCU away, but they do get Oklahoma at home. I like their total to go over, but I would be surprised if they made the title game. Now the 2 teams that I'm really looking forward to watching the most, you've got Oklahoma State, who will once again have Chuba Hubbard and wide receiver Tylan Wallace, who both held off on entering the NFL draft, and second-year quarterback in Spencer Sanders. The Cowboys went 8-5 in 2019, with 3 losses coming by 10 points or less. But Sanders was not under center for 2 of those 5 losses due to injury, including the 34-16 loss in the regular season finale against Oklahoma and a 3-point loss to A&M in the Texas Bowl. He had 11 interceptions, but 7 came in a 3-game stretch. And why am I so excited for this team? Because Sanders is a dual-threat quarterback who can make plays outside of the pocket. Where do they need to show improvements? Is converting on third downs. They ranked 97th in third down conversions, but this team has the pieces, and now they have the experience to make the adjustments. Their 2 toughest road games are at Oklahoma and at TCU for their finale, which are the 2 teams that are expected to be the better defenses of the Big 12. But last year they did go 9-3-1 against the spread, and I think that a breakout year is on deck. And then you've got Texas. They do replace 2 wide receivers in Devin Duvernay and Colin Johnson, but they are returning 16 starters and my man, quarterback Sam Ehlinger. They have depth in the running back position and a defense that not only has more experience this year, but they will be in form, returning a lot of players back from injury. Texas has not won the Big 12 since 2009, but this is a veteran team with a solid quarterback, and for the first time in a long while, they had a really great recruiting class. This is going to sound a bit biased, but the players are there, the coaching is there, the experience is there. Texas has what it takes to make it to the title game, but it is just a matter of whether they will live up to their expectations or fall flat and disappoint once again. One key matchup that does come mid-season is Texas at Oklahoma State. Both of these teams lead the Big 12 in Phil Steele's experience chart, and this game could be perhaps determine who goes off into the title game. In the Big 12 championship, we could have Oklahoma versus either Oklahoma State or Texas, or if I get my way, we are going to have Oklahoma State versus Texas. 2020 is a really big year for the Big 12 conference. It is going to be one of the more exciting conferences, considering that we don't have the Big 10 or the Pac-12.